Hello and welcome. I am MotoristX and welcome to an edition of Lore Wheel Drive, where I talk about niche automotive lore, history, and subjects of the like. Today, I'll be sharing with you a brief history of Mugen, and later on we'll take a look at some of the greatest cars that they've built over their years. But before we dive into any of that though, I do want to recommend, highly recommend in fact, subscribing to my channel if you would like to learn about automotive operations and topics like this. When it comes to my automotive channel, I make content for all different types of car enthusiasts, but with this series in particular, this is for all my history buffs, spec nerds, and taxonomy masters. Essentially, if you love to classify different cars and really get to know the lore behind so many different nameplates, Lore Wheel Drive is going to be a series for you. Now, having said all that, let's dive into Mugen. Mugen is a tuning company and motorsports team dedicated to pushing Honda products to the next level, both on the street and at the track. It was established in 1973 and founded by a man named Hirotoshi Honda, who was the son of Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda Motor Company itself. Mugen started its life producing modifications for motorbikes, but over time, they began to work on developments for Honda's main product, cars. Over its years, Mugen has worked extensively with Honda racing teams to provide them with mechanical expertise, high-quality parts, as well as vehicles for their own endeavors. They have been doing so for decades and have even entered in many of their own competitive vehicles into the likes of the Japanese Touring Car Championship, Formula 1, Super GT, and a number of other championships. All of such which have allowed Mugen to really show how capable Hondas could be. Not to mention, they've also been taking their motorsports developments and applying them to railgoing cars as well, both in the form of bolt-on modifications and entire complete vehicles. When looking at Mugen from a philosophical standpoint, you'll notice that their whole mission essentially mirrors that of the Type R badge. Take a Honda, make it as trackable as possible, but still have it street legal while being a good daily car for the road. The only big difference between the Type R badge and Mugen is that Mugen has done this for far longer. If you know some of your other dates with Honda, you'll notice that the Type R badge didn't come until 1992, so Mugen at this rate has a 2-decade head start. But enough with these dates in this comparison. Looking at Mugen for what it is, it must be made clear that Mugen is not an in-house tuner division of Honda, despite how synonymous they are with Honda cars. Mugen was never founded or owned by Honda Motor Company itself. In other words, it wasn't established as an extended corporate arm like Nismo, SVT, or BMW M were. It was rather founded through a joint effort between familial relations. More specifically speaking, that bond between a father and son. Anyway, skipping ahead to now, Mugen has continued to produce parts and full renditions of various Honda products, all now under the name M-Tec, which was their new IP or name for Mugen established in 2003. But over the years though, I do want to make this clear, Mugen has created a variety of unique sports cars that have helped globally define Japanese automaking and engineering. And actually shortly, we'll be taking a look at some of these examples that have allowed Mugen to do such. Before we dive into this gallery of models though, let me clarify a couple of things. Number one, cars are only going to be named by their year, company, model, and trim level. I'm not going to be using any generational codes, chassis codes, or sub-trim level names. Number two, some of the cars in this video might have multiple engine options available, but for the sake of this video, I only chose the specs for the option that was either the most popular or the one that had the most information on it. Number three, some cars also might have figures that just weren't publicly attainable, so for some of these cars you will see that they will have data slots indicating that data just simply was not available. Number four, few of the specs that I do have in this gallery will probably not be 100% accurate, so for any really questionable specs that I had, what I ended up doing was taking similar cars of the same class and era compared to the car in question, and I basically took those numbers from those cars and I just pretty much estimated how well the car in question might be expected to perform just based on the numbers that I got from those other cars, both similar in class and similar in its era. And number five, taking into consideration the previous 4 points, I want you to understand and know that I have done my best to provide you with both accurate and precise information for all of the cars that are going to be listed in this gallery shortly. Now that I have given you a brief history over Mugen, and now that I have addressed the side notes for the gallery, let us dive into the mighty machines that are Mugen. So guys, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and leave a like and consider subscribing to see more content like this. If you want to see me do this with another car brand, model, or type, comment down below which brand, model, or type you want to see me cover next. But yes, ending off this episode, I want to let you know once more that I am MotoristX and that this was an edition of Lore Wheel Drive.